here we go. So again, it can't hear you. So, you know. I don't know if you want it to be. So we're doing a live stream right now. We're gonna start a new painting. It's gonna be based on the movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Oh, that's exciting. So I gotta find a nice painting to paint over here. Not this one. This one's not dry yet. I want to find a different one that might work. I should have another painting that I can paint over here. Let me find it though. What's up, Pookie? Pookie. All right, that I do. I have a painting ready to go. All right, so we're actually going to start on this painting right here. And I want to play something a little Hopper-esque. I'm going to see if I can do it. Hopper style painting, I already have an idea in mind. It's based on the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. If anything, I'm taking it pretty much directly from it. But I want to play with Hopper-esque coloration, the feel of Edward Hopper, just to, you know, study it. So obviously, you know, not going to match the genius of Hopper since he pretty much came up with everything on his own, I assume, you know, but I will study some of the colors and the work involved that might have influenced Hopper. So here we go. We got this red. We're going to paint on this one later, this one behind it, but we're going to start with our red version here. And it's going to be a red underpainting, which, you know, could yield all sorts of interesting results. There's all these, like, little chunks here. I don't know if I should leave them on or pull them off. Makes it a little gritty, but that's okay. I'm gonna go from one idea to another. One painting idea to another. Let's see, let's pull this a little back further. So the inspiration for this upcoming painting is going to be Edward Hopper and Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is a scene in the movie. The only problem is you're not really going to see the figures. But let me start by composing. I'm going to start with let me start how I usually start. I'm going to start with oil pastels. Actually, I don't usually start with this. Let me start how I like to start, is what I should say. I like starting with oil pastels. The only reason why I don't do it for all my paintings is I don't know what the long-term effect of using oil pastel on painting is. So one person told me, you know, because oil pastel never dries, it might flake off. But it makes me wonder what happens if you mix oil pastel with oil paint. It might actually have a net positive result. So I don't use oil pastels for everything, but there are some paintings that it really helps me to gather the composition. So for this piece, I'm going to start with some green. Let me just see how I'm going to lay this out. So we've got our rule of thirds here. Got a really low horizon line. It's going to be a really low horizon line. A really high, let's see. The floor pretty much goes all the way to the center right here. So all right, you know what? We're going to go higher. I'm just going to go like right there. very movie-esque. And let's see how I want to block this out. It's pretty much where the floor is going to go. I want to block this out. So rule of thirds, we're going to have the rule of thirds. I want only a portion of this to be standing. So Edward Hopper usually has his figures in the first like half of a scene. So I'm trying to think of how I can block this out so that I can, you know, he has his figures like kind of cramped, and he just like creates this like this sense of loneliness, or like not loneliness, but just like a somber like individual one or two figures. And I think this painting really did a good job of capturing this scene. So I haven't fully blocked it out yet. I've already got, you know, what I want in mind, but still, you know, still have this thing of how I'm going to do it. That's rule of thirds. Let's see. Rule of thirds is going to come down this way. I don't want this thing to be centered. So if we're going to have the rule of thirds right here, I want a nice little box right here for our figures. Maybe put him off to the center here. It's a little bit challenging as well because the frame of the what's up, Izraya? I see. Don't understand from Turkey. What's up, everybody? So yeah, I'm still planning out my painting right now. So if you're looking for something exciting, stay tuned. You just might get it. But let's go like this. Maybe the figures in the center will be the highlight. So let's try to put them in the center. Rule of thirds right here. Just estimating. You know, you try to separate it. Use space. Rule of thirds just basically means whatever you want in focus is going to be in the center. So neither of these figures is going to be in the center. So rule of thirds right here, which means if you're separating the rule of thirds, you know, you want them to pretty much fill this space. So I want some space here.
Oh, my boy. My boy.
I want to be able to block off some of this area here. Do I want to block it off?
Some lie on the bed. Oh, look at the fluffy kitty. Fluffy kitten. So fluffy.
This is still planning. This is why this is why it helps to have the planning phase. Let's go. This is going to be about halfway. So a little bit over halfway. Let's make, if this was the frame, let me do another rule of thirds where these are separated into thirds. Rule of thirds within a rule of thirds might be nice. So if this is the frame where the majority of the action is going to happen, you know, halfway to here, I want the rule of thirds to pretty much, you know, have the two figures standing here. Rule of thirds within a rule of thirds. I don't even know if that actually works, but, you know, we'll figure it out. Get a nice little rectangle. No. This rectangle definitely needs to be moved a little further. So I usually have this issue where I'm trying to, you know, plan out some of the details here. But, you know, because I am framing, putting some of these elements within the frame, so I am putting some of the ideas down within a frame, I could still fudge things around. You know, if I've got this frame outside, this frame, this side framed off, this side also framed off. This side also framed off. You know, this would be the final frame. If we were to have like a final frame, I could do a rule of thirds. Rule of thirds as the final frame here. Make this as the main piece of composition. Maybe. How do I want to do it? I want to create this sensation of space, of minimal space between our figures here. Do this window within like a window type action here. Got a nice little square. gonna do this. Maybe make this part smaller. Get our figure, size of our figure right here. Make them larger. And then we're still planning things out. Still in the planning phase. So this has to be kind of like just around his hip area. And let's go. It's got some nice flowy dress like so. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to include a link to the movie. I need to include a link to this movie. So let's do that before we get any further. Amazing movie, won an Academy in 2023. Let me see if I could get a link on here. Amazon.com. I am offering to, for those of you that want to see it, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Watch the movie on Amazon. Alright, let's go into the stream here. We're going to add the link. Whoops. Michael Wilbur has said something. Michael Wilbur has written. What has he written? We're going to pin this message as a paint. 90% of the painting is done in the head. Other 10% is throwing paint. That's right, man. Michael Wilbur with the amazing factoids of life and painting and art and creativity. Love it. And let's see how we can find this. So we're gonna give these characters, we're gonna make these characters look, you know, gonna give them a sensation. This is gonna go like that, and then this pretty much goes down. And this entryway is gonna come down, and she's gonna go up. All right, so do I like this composition? I'm kind of like a little turned off that it's like smack dab in the center. But you know what? We're just gonna have to make it work. I mean, we don't always just have to make it work, but that's how it will work, right? So let's create this. Let's create a sense of environment in the background. They got a little building. Let's see, let's try to copy some of the design here. We've got this coming on over here. We got a guy sitting over here. I love this shot from the movie, by the way. It is probably one of the best shot scenes in a movie, in my opinion. In my opinion, it is one of the best shot scenes in the entire movie. So we're gonna go. She's gonna go right around here. It's gonna be another figure, a guy sitting. He's gonna be sitting right there. And then we're gonna go. Gonna give him a little bit more space right here. So he might have to lean back just a little bit. I'm gonna give some room. Bring the head down. And there's someone else's head right there. And then we're gonna give another area of space right there. And the building coming down. Amazing shot. I don't like this. This is one of the most beautifully shot scenes in a home movie, which is why I feel it is so worth painting. What is this line? Oh, I see. Okay. How does that look? It just, there's a lot of like space that's empty. Is that my main focal point? So my main focal point, so I'm going for like an Edward Hopper. I'm trying to go for an Edward Hopper feel. And the film actually takes place on a really wide shot. So like really wide shot, you know, really wide shot. And, you know, for me, I'm trying to get that like Edward Hopper feel where, you know, things feel kind of like claustrophobic almost. I want to capture that feeling. And I just, you know, I think my biggest concern here is figuring out how to like make it feel claustrophobic, but also like have like a, you know, make it look nice. So there might be a little bit too much space above his head, but you know, that's okay. So there is a little bit of a horizon and disappearing lines here. Let me find a good line. It's like perfect example of vanishing points. This image, if I can get it right, but we'll see. Will the naked eye be able to tell? I don't really know. Plus, you know, we could say that's on a hill. And then let's go like this, about the width of his body. We're gonna get that, and then a little thick section coming down right there. What movie? Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It is in the link in the description below. So this sewer grate takes up a large portion of this painting. Honestly, I think I just need to get a little bit more extreme with this vanishing line. Yeah, because it goes past the door, actually. So a little bit more extreme with this vanishing line. This even can be more extreme as well. You get more extreme with these vanishing lines here. And you know what? This piece is probably going to come from behind the door. If this is attached to the door, and we're probably going to have a wall like right here, right? This is attached to the door. That would be the wall. We do have some objects sitting up like wood posts. Like a wood panel, just chilling. Maybe a smaller wood panel. Let's see, how big is this wood panel? Oh, I see what I'm looking at. It's important to know what you're looking at. Isn't it? Wouldn't that make sense to know what you're looking at first before you try to like do stuff? So this is actually a piece of the wall, and then there's a gap here. So that's what I'm looking at. So this is a gap, but this is why we sketch things out first, right? Your canvas just blew over. Your canvas just blew over. You're painting, man? All right. We got a painting crew right now, the painting squad. I want to make this a little smaller. And then since that goes like that, we're going to have a piece cover. Actually, just like go right in front of there. You kind of see what's going on. And we'll just make this portion of it disappear. So this will be my personal test on my ability to paint paint things as they disappear into the horizon. Paint things as they disappear. Paint chiaroscuro. Really testing my abilities to do some chiaroscuro here. We're gonna get some line on this. Let's get some line going around. This has been who can draw a perfect ellipse? Come here now so that you can draw my ellipse for me. All right, so we're gonna try to mark out some of our color zones. So let's see, our door is gonna probably end. Let's get his outfit here. Oh, you know what I messed up? Oh my gosh, I messed up so bad. So I didn't actually want her sitting, I wanted her standing. And that like totally changes this perspective. But let me see how I can modify this. I'm gonna use different colors so that I can actually see it. Messed up so bad. I want to see her standing actually. So she's gonna be standing here. But I didn't want her to block the people here, which is why it's actually a little bit. Let's get the basic shape of who our figure is. All right, there we go. Easy. You're not drawing lips? What? What are you talking about? What's random comment, man? The random comment. All right, so let's get some colors down in this area. We're gonna focus, make this space a yellow. Oh yeah, let's get some extra horizon lines. So right into here, we're gonna get a horizon line. Oh yeah, we need another door. Do we need another door? No, that kind of just shuts all the way across. So we're good on this. We do need this section, this section of the opening. Oh, I see what we can do. So we're gonna bring this up. I'm gonna bring this back. We're just gonna create this little section, extreme horizon line. So focal point probably like right here. That's where my focal point is gonna be. So that would have to be even a more extreme angle. Bring that out a little bit. And then we're gonna go block some space in. And let's see, so how can we work this? We're gonna work this, get some color into here. And let's go. Let's actually go with a nice dark blue. I think this is either, yeah, this is like an ultramarine blue or purple. And we're just going to go into here and just fill this space in. Actually, this whole space is pretty much going to disappear. I think with this style of painting, I don't need to spend as much time trying to like get the right colors, trying to go across and like figure out color variations. Just more of a, could be more of a, there will be a subtle shift around this section, but I don't think I need to worry as much about it. You should worry about everything. Everything is something you must worry about. Worry about everything. Stress, stress, stress. Kidding, kidding. Don't stress, people. Stress is one of the worst things that you can do for your body. If you stress, like, they did research that I read on like, and by the way, always talk to a doctor. Talk to your physician, your doctor. This is not medical advice. But I read somewhere that they like did research on cows. And before cows are slaughtered for our benefit to eat, they release a tremendous amount of stress hormones. And they say that those stress hormones actually get into our food. How doesn't that suck? That animal stress hormones, just because they're slaughtered, get into our food. Like when we're about to eat a cow or a pig or whatever animal, if it's been stressed out in a recent time, which is pretty much every animal that's about to get, that's about to become food for us, releases stress hormones. And that can affect our food. And although I still eat meat, I think it's one of those things where it's like, something to consider about how stress affects our body. So please, people, if there's anything that you get from this, find a way to de-stress now. I know it's easier said than done, of course. Not everyone knows how to de-stress. But if you can find a way to de-stress, it's highly recommended, because stress does so much to your body. I'm going to find some yellows here. We're going to go in with a little bit of yellow. I'm going to go into yellow with these doors. I'm just going to go straight up with this yellow. Hamburger IDK, what's up, IDK? Great to see ya. Great to catch you before you left. I don't know if I was able to greet you before you left, but man, it's all good, dude. Take care. Be a good person. Do good things. All right, so I don't know what these lines, how to make these lines look even more, how to make the appearance of longer lines without actually making them longer. Like, how do I actually make this look like a door? Is my question. Like a door. Maybe I just need to make this more extreme. Pretty much almost vertical, really. Yeah, almost. I think that does the job. Maybe reduce the size of this. Get some lights. Let's see. Get some lights up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some disgruntled lights. Get a nice light. Where's the wall end? What is this? The wall end's like right here, so get a nice little light like behind her head, maybe. Whatever this, I know. I have to reshape this section. And then this is like something that comes around doorway. some ambient lighting. I don't know how exactly I'm going to achieve the ambient lighting. Some windows. All right, let's get started, shall we? Back to using crayons, eating cheeseburger, watching chalk on the sidewalk. Yes, good old chalky chalk. Let's do some chalk work. Chalky sidewalks. Thank you for spending some time to eat some hamburgers. So do you make your own hamburgers, or did you pick some up? I've been really loving this place called For the Win. They're a hamburger place in Los Angeles, and they make smash burgers. And I swear this trend of smash burgers is just like one of the best trends in Los Angeles, because it's probably not even a Los Angeles trend. It's just a thing. And it's basically hamburgers that are smashed. They're crushed. They're smashed. And they're just like, so they can be a little crispy. They give a little bit of a crispiness. And they also, I gotta get rid of the piece here. They offer a little bit of a crispiness with a thinness, but like if you season it just right, oh my gosh, there's just so much flavor all throughout. I don't usually promote foods. I guess maybe I do usually promote food. I don't know. But oh yeah, let's go in with these people. I don't want to leave out the people before I get started on this. So, I lost the oil pastel, which means one of my cats is going to get into it if I don't find it. Here we go. Ugh. Chucky. Chucky. Alright, let's go with the blue here. I'm going to go blue with this figure. Get right in with the deep dark blue. Deep dark blue, dark hair. Get him over to the side. She's got super dark hair too. Like, we're pretty much not going to see any people. So except for these people there, like, that's what this scene's about, right? It's just like so gloomy that these main characters, these faceless characters, are the center of our attention. And we're going to go with that move. That's going to be our move. So whether, the composition, people that obsess over composition, whether they're going to be upset that the main figures aren't in it, I'm basing it off of a scene from Academy Award-winning directors and cinematographers who lent their ideas. So it's not my idea. I'm actually stealing this painting concept. But let me try to find these people. They got some dark greens, so we're gonna go with some dark greens. Dondrell, in and out. Yeah, Dondrell, my bird was chirping incessantly yesterday, and I was thinking Dondrell would totally be really annoyed right now. I mean, I was annoyed, but, I know Dondrell would have been definitely annoyed at the chirpy chirp. Mr. Chirpy Chirp. Well, let's go like this. And then we're going to fill in the background. Let's fill in the background with a luminous, like, orange back here. Just a luminous orange. Let's get some orange on these bodies here. Orange on the bodies, orange on the head, right there. Some orange in the face back here. Let's find some reds, or maybe brown. We're gonna use, I don't know which brown this is. Just the raw brown or whatever, but I'm gonna use this brown to capture some of the characteristics. Capture the hair, because this is a scene that's at night. I don't know if you could tell. Not yet, probably. Cat ate the bird. All right, we're ready. I think we're ready to paint here. Oh wait, no, not yet. Let's go with some. Let's go with a dark blue here. I'm gonna go with the dark. No, we're gonna go with the yellow on this dress area. All right. So first things first, people. Let's actually open up our. Actually, you know what? Let's put our paint supplies away, or the oil pastel supplies, I should say. So I use 3 oil pastel types. I use 1 Sennelier. You can't go wrong with Sennelier, unless what you want is a harder oil pastel. Like, you know, Senneliers are expensive. You don't really want to do this here with oil pastels, unless it's actually going to be part of your painting, right? Like if you want to do this, all this scrubby rub all across a big canvas, or I guess a medium-sized canvas in this case, you definitely, I wouldn't want to use oil Sennelier because it's really expensive. But I would take like a, you know, I'll usually do something like that with a harder pastel. With a harder pastel that, you know, I don't mind just totally rubbing away onto a surface. And then a third one, I actually really like this brand because it's really affordable, but it's also got great colors, great texture. It's nice and soft. So Sennelier, and then this brand, it's a Chinese brand. But actually, you know, this is going to sound really weird, but it smells good. It has like, I don't know what they do. Maybe they do it on purpose to like get people to like it, but it's actually got a scent, and it's a good scent. It smells like they sprayed perfume in it or something. And it still has that scent. Let me smell it right now. Yeah, I mean, it's got a good scent. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's good for you, but it's like a flowery, floral scent. You know, I had that happen before. I would buy things from Amazon, and the seller like sprays perfume into it, and I think it's a marketing trick. But as for Paul Rubens, between Sennelier and Paul Rubens, you get way more. You know, again, Sennelier, you can't beat the quality of Sennelier. They're amazing. They're top of the line. You know, it is a supply where you pay for what you get. But I will say you get more for what you pay with Paul Rubens. And, you know, I haven't done the long-term tests, right? Like, I haven't, you know, tested out what they look like and how the quality looks after 20 years, 30 years. I haven't tested that out. But as far as I know, my experience with, like, you know, instant gratification, on-the-spot testing, you know, I think these are great. Both are really good. Hiya. Hiya. Oil pastel. What a name, huh? Who came up with that? Hiya. Hiya. Paul Rubens. Paul Rubens is the brand, though. Hiya. I don't even know what that means. What they're trying to suggest, but it says hiya. Uh-oh, Dondrell sent something. Oh, it was retracted. Okay. I thought maybe it got banned. You got auto moderated. It's got a good scent. Let's take a whiff of it real quick. The scent cover, the smell of the crap it's made. Yo, maybe. But you know what? I will say the scent that they sprayed has lasted longer than any scent. You know, like oil pastel, I've never really had a bad smelling oil pastel. I don't think oil pastels usually smell bad. Now, oil paints. Oh, the moment I open this thing, my goodness. My goodiness. It has quite the scent. So let's take a big brush. Start with a big brush, big brush. Try to soften. Try to soften or restore some of these brushes. They've gotten really crusty. Now, let's just let this soak in mineral spirits for a few moments and just see if it if it ends up going away. If it does, cool. If not, that's fine too. But you know what I should just start with is I should just start with this brush. This brush still has its texture because I clean it really heavily after every time. And what do we want to do? We want to keep this nice and cool. So I'm using my reference of what's his name again? Edward Hopper. How do you forget his name? How do you forget a name like Edward Hopper? How do you forget that? How do you forget that, eh? And I'm gonna go with a Prussian blue. So I want to use a Prussian blue for the space around. And I don't really know. Alexa, what's the difference between Prussian blue and ultramarine blue?
This might answer your question. According to Wikipedia, Prussian Blue was an American pop music duo which was composed of...
Alexa off. All right, so my guess, if I had to answer my own question instead of depending on Alexa for everything in my life, my guess would be that Prussian blue is a much darker blue, closer to purple, while ultramarine is a much more classic blue. And that would be my guess. So that's my final answer. I'm sure Michael probably has an answer. The darkness of the paint. Yeah, there we go. Wear like a clone. Question where my... So I was split screen painting with Omi the other day, but it depends how many days ago. Because the day after, I tried another split screen, but Omi never joined, so my page had some issues. My stream had some issues. I.e. My stream had some issues, i.e. what was I about to say? I.e. My stream had issues because I wanted to do a live stream, a dual live stream, but YouTube doesn't work that way. You can't do a duo live stream, just a dual live stream without messing up your stream view details. Let's grab this Prussian blue. And you know what? Let's just spread it down. We're gonna use a Prussian blue and a little bit of black. We're just gonna use our black and blue and we're just gonna spread it in. I feel like I need to wet this brush just a little bit. Create a fake sense of light once we reach the point. But for now, all this can pretty much disappear. At least this section. This section can just disappear for all I care. Disappear into the blackness. And by the way, when I say, Edward Hopper inspired this, I'm looking at I have his paintings up as references right now. And, his are totally different. I feel like, if Edward Hopper was painting this, obviously I'm not trying to, claim to be a Edward Hopper expert, but, I feel like he would create more areas of light rather than blocking off like an entire, third of this painting with black. But he does use a lot of darker colors to capture an ambiance, to capture a mood, a feeling. And honestly, he does use some, you know, some bright colors like blues or greens. They're rarely ever black, but I like to experiment and push certain colors such as black. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna push these colors. And it seems like the oil pastels are really staying. So I'm gonna go with that. Let's keep going. Push that paint around. Thinner, thinner, more thinner, more thinner. You think we should go thinner, thinner? The problem is I already have paint on here that's pretty thin. It was thinner from a previous paint. You know, when I laid down the paint. Here we go. You know what? Get that paint spread nice and smooth. You know, as always, Michael was pretty much right. Spread that paint around. Yes. All right. You know, Michael's right. I thought I had a nice wet brush, but I did not. So, there we go. As always, Michael was right. I bet Michael doesn't hear that often in real life, huh? Michael, do you hear that often? Do you ever hear that you were right in real life? Yeah, honestly, if I wanted the other paint to shine through, I would have really had to use less paint. But I think at this point, I might still be able to like eliminate some of the paint around here. And let's make it a little bit green. So let's try to find some yellows and greens to create a nice little transition color. We're gonna go with, let's go with a lime. Actually, you know what? Let's use up the rest of our cad yellow. Or you know what? A yellow ochre might be perfect because otherwise we can move into this direction of too bright of a green. So let's experiment with this cad yellow. And we're just gonna lay this down right here. Let's lay this down right there. Let's just see how this blue starts to interact with our yellow. Oh, there we go. It's like an eerie green color. I like it. All right. So we can start to spread this around. And then, yeah, definitely not Hopper because Hopper would totally make this really, really flat. I think he would make this a perfectly flattened image. As far, not flattened image, but like, you know, color, as far as the color, overall color is concerned, I think it would be much flatter in color, but you know, we're just getting this initial layer down, so let's just see how it goes. Let's play with it. Let's play. I wonder what would Hopper do. I listened to one audiobook about Edward Hopper. Now I feel like an expert. Just kidding. Let's see. I mean, maybe I'm acting like it. I don't know. I say I'm just kidding, but maybe at some level I'm like acting like it because, you know, just looking at his paintings, you know, I can see that he uses a lot of hard edges, a lot of straight edges, and he really knows how to contain light, but also spread light across surfaces. Like maybe I should even make this a hard light coming down if I wanted to be very Hopper. Maybe I should do that. Let me go right into here. Let's spread a hard light. Let's go with a hard light into this section here. Right here, let's go hard light. Let's try to find. I've never really been too interested in hard edge painting, which hard edge painting is basically just paintings where you have a very clear and consistent edge. That's like a hard edge painting. You know, any painting that you see that has like a clean hard edge, is a hard edge painting. But I probably already ruined the chances of creating a nice hard edge painting because I become so, it's like spreading paint. I don't know, this is just how I paint. I've eliminated any hope. Maybe we find something else out of this. Where's the window? There's no window. This is the window. This is the window of stuff. This is the window. Let's see, let's continue going with this green here. We're gonna find some green along this wall right here. Yeah, any hope I had of making a nice hard edge painting, a nice crisp, clean hard edge painting is probably gone right now. So much for that idea. But that's not true, because with oil paint, you can always change and adapt things, always. You let it dry and then paint over it. Then let it dry some more and then paint over it again. Let it dry some more and paint over it again. So my main goal was to really just cover all these surfaces here. And you know, I should have been more like that. But let's just keep going. Let's add some black towards the edges here. Let's see. You know what? Instead of me saying what I said about Edward Hopper, I was like, oh, here we go. I read one book and now I'm an expert on Edward Hopper. You know, I think this painting really is. The truth is, what I'm trying to do is really learn with this painting about Edward Hopper and his painting techniques. Which one, I already know that, you know, he's a very hard edge painter. So he would probably use a ruler or some tape, I guess, to create this section. Meanwhile, you know, I just paint into it. So you get something a little different. But I can also, you know, I'm still in the process. We clean it up in a little later when we need to. But for now, just getting the main color zones. There we go. You woke up the bird. Maybe this just has a surreal feel. The bird is back. Where's the light switch? There's no light switch. Never a light switch. All right, so we got up here. Let's go up here and right here. Just a really dark scene. And here we go. I think I'm pretty much done with this brush. You know, I might be able to add a little bit more shadow into here, just so we can bring the shadows into our piece and not have to stress too much about it later. No stress, people. All right, and this is gonna come down as well. I mean, it's pretty dramatic right now. Now comes the 4-inch brush. No, not yet. Not yet. Close, but not quite. Soon, though. I promise you I will pull that brush out soon. But not until got a better grasp on the overall blocking of this image. So fun fact, I did get to work on this movie, and I worked on this exact night that this was filmed. It was a fun movie. The Daniel brothers are great directors. You know, I think it's fascinating when like two people can share power, creative power. And you know, I know maybe the terms might be a little controversial because you know everyone thinks the word power is a bad thing. But you know, I'm not talking like, you know, power to do, have and take whatever they want. But I mean like creative power as in, you know, on a movie set, whatever the director says goes. And you know, if you've ever had to work with somebody side by side, you know, that you never met, well, I mean, of course they met before, but like if you ever had to work with anybody, even for a long time, or even just live with anybody, like, you know, things happen. People get into arguments. And for two people to make an entire movie and share and have both of their creative values listened to and put into a movie, I think that's an amazing feat. And, you know, I'm sure at some point the two of them, the Daniels, might, I don't know if the actual brothers, did I call them brothers earlier? I think the Daniels, you know, maybe they'll make more movies together, or maybe they'll go off and come up with their own genres. I don't know, but it was really interesting to see them work on this movie. Just from my experience, you know, working with one other person and coming up with a creative vision that allows you both to feel like you're heard. I think that can be very difficult from my experience. Unless you're able to find just the right person who you're able to click with, and that is a very difficult thing to find in life sometimes. Whether it be, you know, romantic partners or business partners, creative partners. I guess back in the day, they used to have races in motorcycles where there would be someone who sat in a little car on the side of the motorcycle. Like imagine that, right? When you're on the side of that motorcycle, you're basically at the, like, whoever's driving the motorcycle, you are totally in their, like, in their sphere of influence. There's nothing, I mean, you can do stuff, like you have to lean your body, and I heard a little bit about this racing, but you have to lean your body and you got to do stuff, but like at the end of the day, who's controlling it? Really the person who's driving it, right? Whew, what's up, Omi? I swear I'm not getting out the 4-inch brush yet. I'm getting out. Honestly, I don't even use 4-inch brushes that often. I only use them for the eyes, pretty much. Facial features and eyes. I mean, do I really seem like I use that much? I don't know. All right, let's find. I want to use this brush because it seems like it needs some usage. Like this is a nice brush has just started to harden. And I feel like if I use it now, I can prevent its demise. The more regularly you use your brushes and like clean them off, the more you can keep them alive. You know what? Let's test out our cleaning supplies here. I'm gonna go right here. Gonna grab our Gatorade bottle, pop open our Masters brush cleaner. I don't know why it's called the Masters. Maybe it's because it has to do with the Masters of Art. And my goal, so I don't know if you could tell right now, but this is a great brush, but it's still a little bit like clunky. You know, some of the chunks have come together. I didn't clean this brush properly, I guess, when I needed to. So let's just dip it in our Gatorade, our fake Gatorade. This isn't real Gatorade. Don't drink water that has mixed with oil paints. It's very bad for you. Let's just rub it in. Rub it all in here. Got a new project, drawing dogs again. Nice. How do I store my brushes? I store my brushes bristles up. Why? They're bristles up in a jar. Come on, Michael. I at least know that much. That's awesome, dude. Congrats on the new project. Congratulations. Let's celebrate Omizu's newfound success. He's going to buy us all new Lamborghinis with his newest commission of drawing dogs. You get a Lambo, you get a Lambo, you get a Lambo. Everybody gets a Lambo. Congratulations, Omizu. He is the one who gets the jobs in our group. The most successful of us all. The greatest artist. All right, let me let this soak for a second. Close off my Master's brush cleaner. My cat's trying to sneak up. Cat's trying to sneak up on me. I see you, Pookie. Pookie, I see you trying to sneak up. This is not a toy. This is not even drinking water. All right, so let's see how this did. Let's the impact was minimal. It feels a little bit softer, but you could still see the brushes are still kind of together. But that's all good. We're gonna work with it. Omi's gonna get the job. Omi has the job. He doesn't need to get the job. He's already got it. So let's celebrate that. Omizu. Time to celebrate Omizu. Omizu, the great artist of our time. Pookie, go. Pookie, go. Go somewhere. She's stretching, and she's stretching her paw closer and closer to me. She's trying to pretend like she just wants to be close to me. I feel so bad, but you know, that's the problem with oil paints. If you super love your cats and you can't possibly tell them to go away, do not get oil paints, because you know you don't want them getting into oil paints and then licking off cadmium from their tails, right? So it's a hard lesson. If you can't possibly imagine telling your cats to go away from you. It's just hard, right? So anyway, we're gonna go with this door right here. Let's go with some yellow ochre doors. Some yellow ochre doors here. We're gonna go paint this door down. Let's go like that. Let's block in some of these shapes right here on this door. You're not smoking a cigar? You mean you're not smoking a cigar until somebody sings? I don't get it. You lost me there. Did Omi only arrive after Michael said something about Omizu? Excuse me. Michael Wilbur apparently has a bat signal for Omizu, the Omizu signal. It's time for Omizu to show up. So just building up these colors and it's working. We're gonna go with a gray here. Let's go find some grays into this section right here. Just gonna build in some gray so we're not too stressed out by the dark blue around. We're just gonna go with gray. I really do love this brush. Give a little form correction there. Bring some more color into this one right here. And how we looking? Yeah, all right. It's got like a very bright vibe to it. It's vibing. Got a vibe here. It's about the vibing. All right. I'm definitely gonna need yellow at some point. But let me find these figures. So they're gonna be in like. Let's find this ultra Prussian blue.
Alexa, what's the weather?
Currently, in Burbank it's 62 degrees Fahrenheit with partly sunny skies. Tonight, we can expect just a few clouds in the sky, with a low of 46 degrees. Also, there's a wind advisory in effect until Wednesday, April 2nd, 2 a.m.
A little more than a third of his body here. Let's just get it nice and dark. Again, these silhouettes. Simple painting. Easter eggs, horse ride through the hills. Is it vibrating? Is what vibrating? Is it vibrating? Michael considers paintings of horses going through a field. Oh, there's a suitcase here. See, this is what happens when you continue to look at the art that you're supposed to be working on. You start to see things that are there.
Sorry.
He's got a suitcase. I love this. I actually really like this color right now. It's very bright. It's a really interesting bright lighting effect. And you know what? I didn't like the composition. I was really concerned about the composition at first. The composition being that, you know, I was gonna have like this huge space of just the dark area, and it's gonna like really be distracting. But I actually like the way this is turning out. Alexa, who is Wilbur the painter?
Wilbur Newald was a painter who lived in the U.S., born in 1925 and died in 2022.
Alexa, off. Michael Wilbur, did you die in 1922? No, Michael's still alive. There's no way he's dead. Michael Wilbur must live.
All right.
What's that? What's that, cat?
Going to the store so we can have some dinner.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
See you in a little bit. We'll get some puppy dog tails and some snails. And
Sounds amazing.
does it? Snails are
Snails are a delicacy.
about puppy dog tails. That sounds gross. That's what little boys are made of.
What?
It's an old poem.
Oh. Boys are made of puppy dog tails?
Yeah. Little girls are sugar and spice and everything nice. But boys are,
Everything bad.
yeah. Rocks and sticks and puppy dog tails. That's not exactly how it goes. Scout! Come to the store with me? Social media too long. I get lost on it. I'm like trying to post about my book. I sent it to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah. In Messenger this. And some people it wouldn't send to. Just promote my book on your site. Or your streaming.
Yeah. So everybody, my partner has released a new book coming out. It's already out. It's called Confessions of a Nun. It's out now on Amazon. Yes, you can check it out now on Amazon.
Free. Right
For
now.
free. It's free right now. So if you just want to help support this channel and get something for free, and you're into romantic erotica novels, which I know Omizu and Michael Wilbur are,
Cool. Yes.
um,
I gotta go.
you know, check out that book.
We'll be back.
Check it out. A raunchy romantic novel called A Nun in Paris. It is out now and available on Amazon Kindle. So if you want to help support this channel and the people involved, such as my partner, Kathleen, she's involved sometimes. She goes in the other room and tries to stay patient with me while I paint and talk really loudly. And that is, you know, sometimes you don't have to support people just by doing stuff for them. It's what you tolerate from them. So she already left, so I'm just saying this stuff out of truth. Isn't that great? Anyway, so Michael, did Michael confess to a nun before he passed? I don't think nuns take confessions, do they? Nuns don't do that. That's a priest thing, isn't it? So Michael, no 4-inch brush. This is a 10-inch, 12-inch. probably a 12-inch. But you know what was funny is I use it like a 4-inch. I use it like a 4-inch brush. I should like hold it from further away like a real artiste. She's my girlfriend. She's my girl. My partner, my girl, my woman. But in Los Angeles, we say partners. It's a very LA. Actually, you know, I don't really hold it this close, do I? Only people streaming know how close to the tip I actually hold it. I feel like I actually hold it like this far, right? No, maybe not. I don't know. Am I dreaming? Let's go. Let's go. His shadow. He's gonna be leaning against this right here. So head. I want to try to find the size of the head. If the body is 7 figures. So this would be 1, 2. I want to give him an 8-figure body. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a little bit of a smaller head. Just a little bit bigger, actually. Yeah, a little bit bigger head right there. Ah, there we go. That's a good size head, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Yeah. All right, 7.5 to 8. If you're somewhere, so I'm using the 7 to 8 figure head rule, right? So if you paint a head or draw a head or whatever, and you're trying to estimate if the body is in proportion or not, all you need to do is count the length of the top of the head to the chin. You count to the chin, and then you go down to the chin, and then you count. The head counts as 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you're at 8, you're pretty much, you know, that's considered like heroic proportion, or that's considered heroic or ideal proportions. You know, I almost sounds like I'm getting into eugenics right now. Ideal proportions of a human being. But for commercial artists, if you need a quick way to figure out like how bodies are proportioned, and you know, you want to get something accurate, and you're wondering why your figure doesn't look right, is the head too small, is the torso too long, or the legs too short, you know, if you're trying to figure these things out, the overall body proportion, it's either 7-figure head, 7.5 figure, or 8-figure. And 8-figure at one point in human history was considered ideal for drawing, like commercial work, right? If you're doing commercial drawings, obviously everybody does photography now, but if you were doing commercial drawings for like a modeling commercial agency or something, then you would want an 8-figure head, because that would be like an ideal proportion of a body. Those are not my words. That's just what people did. And honestly, it's helpful. It's really, really helpful. It is actually a helpful proportion, even though I disagree with the whole concept of anything being ideal, because I feel like it is bad. You know, I can't help but use tricks when I have them. So the alternative is really to memorize every bone in the human structure, from the sternum to the head, to the navel, to the patella in the knee, to the kneecap, to the pelvic floor. And if you can memorize all that, and you can memorize exactly what their form is and everything, then with clothes on, then, you know, that's the alternative. So if the alternative is just, you know, memorize a simple proportion of 7.5 to 8 or that, I'm sorry, but as long as no one is hurt, I prefer to use proportions. Here's my essay on the concept of ideal human bodies and eugenics in the art world. It's really, really serious subject. All right, so we're gonna go right here, and we're gonna do a nice clean dark edge. Let's even paint her because the light doesn't get past her. There's no light that gets past her. So we can actually go with this blue, this black, and pretty much the same value, maybe just a little bit lighter. No, this value needs to be darker. Lighten up this value just a little bit. It's that little bit of gray. I'll lighten up this value just a little bit. Does that look like a dress? It's really awkward because it's like coming off of this thing. You know what? Maybe I can kind of make it. Is that? Does this make the dress? And then if I add like a little white, yellow highlight, let's add a pink highlight along the edge of this. Let's see what we can do with a pink highlight here. Just kind of curls up right there. And then try to round out the front of this dress a little bit. Whew, all these colors make it so bright. Just like so many highlights all over these figures. Knowledge is power. Talk. Talk on. Can't always listen to Michael because sometimes like, you might talk yourself into a hole. No one wants to talk themselves into a hole. All right, so I've got so much paint on this. Where should this paint go? Onto the canvas, obviously. But where should it go exactly? So we're gonna go like this. She's a fairly tall woman, Michelle Yeoh. It's based on Michelle Yeoh's character. Actually, did I say fairly tall woman? I mean, she's a great height. She's a great height. She's a woman with wonderful height. I can already see that my biggest challenge right now is going to be trying to capture head to chin, chest, navel, right around there, groin, thigh, knee. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. My biggest challenge is going to be this dress. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Maybe, the dress needs to go in front of it. Ah, there we go. Problem solved, right? Did we just solve our biggest problem? Did we just solve it? Here we go. Just because she was sitting on it. That's the thing. So if she was sitting on it, that means that her dress is just going to flow like that. Ugh, that looks so horrible. It's like, it should just fall, right? It should just fall. Oh, my gosh. What am I going to do? What did I get myself into? So I try to change up the scene. I don't know. Good point. Now, there's gonna be a little shadow. Let's just add the shadow in now so Michael doesn't distract us with his ideas. Add just a tiny bit of shadow because there's such minimal shadow. Like film, movies are not realistic. Okay, like their purpose is not to try to prove to Michael Wilbur how good they are at showing where shadows are. They're like literally they spend their days eliminating shadow. All right. So Michael, this is based on a Hollywood film, not real life, and you can you're just gonna have to live with that idea. Yes, this bill's based on a film still. Sounds like a criticism, Omizu, and yes, you can criticize me all you want for using a film still. But you know what? Like, I'm at a point where, as far as the film still idea goes, like, honestly, if you were to say, hey, man, make a painting tomorrow without doing a film still, like, I'd be like, I'd probably just be frozen and not paint tomorrow, honestly. So if it's a choice between painting something that already exists and just like coming up with my own painterly way of explaining it or learning from it versus not painting at all and being frozen for some reason. And also I need to get some new canvases. I got 2 canvases plus like maybe a half dozen that I'm going to paint over. I've just been slacking, so I need to get bigger canvases and I need to sell some paintings. And yeah, I don't know. Like so I could just knock out abstract work, but you know, these projects keep me busy for long enough that I'm like, okay, we're at a good spot. So let me grab some yellows, and I think I want some greens too. Let me grab a nice yellow. Dude, Omizu, you can totally jump into crit mode. And some of your crits may fall on deaf ears, and some of your crits may yield positive changes. But if you would like to, if you want to get into roast mode, you are welcome. Right now is an open roast mode for the people that I see on right now. If you're just lurking in the background, you know, feel free to jump into roast mode. It is time for roast mode, if you like. So if you're a troll, if you're a roast, as long as you don't say anything totally just like, what? Are you crazy? Are you a weirdo? Like, what's wrong with you? As long as you don't say anything that wild, your comments are pretty much welcome. So here we go. We're gonna go into the light here, capture some light. Creation of light. And then we're going to go like right here. Interestingly enough, these lights all have like weird shapes. Although I wonder, you know, it makes me wonder, were these lights part of the movie, or were they lights from neighbors who didn't want to turn off their light? It does make me wonder here. Yo, go Super Saiyan. Mr. Super Saiyan. There you go. Go wild. Go buck wild, dude. Buck wild. All right, I can't do that. There should not be this highlight at the bottom, but we can fix that later. All right, let's go add in some highlight right here. I'm gonna go with like a pink highlight and then a red highlight, and then we're just gonna swap back and forth between a pink and a dark red. Pink and red. Pink and should be like a ochre. You know, I should have just painted the pink first before switching. This way I can have the highlight on the brush, but now I have to be more careful where the paints go. Who's gonna troll? Omizu? Is anybody gonna troll? The saddest channel is a channel with no trolls. All right. What's happening with these people? We're gonna get some bright reds on this figure right here. And just this background in general. Let's find this pink yellow here. We're gonna grab an ochre, add in a little bit of our burnt sienna, a little bit of pink. And let's try to find this color in the background here. All right, we're gonna go like this. And then we're gonna go with, we're gonna find a darker, we're gonna add a blue to our burnt sienna. What I really should do is pull out my Van Dyke Brown. I should pull out some Van Dyke Brown. I've been wanting to get rid of Van Dyke Brown, but I feel like this color coding is really cool already. So maybe let's add some, let's keep these colors warm. So I think it's okay if I use just a hint of Van Dyke Brown. I was expecting some trolling, but apparently we have nobody. That makes my channel a sad channel. Channel with no trolls. A life without bad, there can be no good, right? Because all good would then be subjective, and it could be good or bad. Is that accurate? Philosophically speaking, is that possible? That if there was no evil in the world, that there could be no good as well? I mean, definitely the world could do without evil, so who knows? All right, let's go into this. Add her shadows, darker shadows into her. And then this guy's got some shadows. I'm gonna raise this up a little bit. Raise that into her chair, like she's sitting on a chair. And then this fella got a long arm. Now, sometimes I ask myself, like when I'm painting, I'm like, becoming a totally professional artist that does this almost all day, every day, do I really, really want it? And I answer that question, yes. Surprised everybody there, didn't I? But I will say, like, you know, if I seriously if I was actually doing this all day, every day, you know, it would definitely have its challenges, coming up with new ideas, new opportunities, new projects, new things. It wouldn't, you know, it would be a challenge. It would be a very welcome challenge. So let's go like, Life is what I make it, good or bad. Should I just leave it like this? I think this is a great painting on its own. Should I just leave it like this and say it's inspired by Edward Hopper? Inspired by Edward Hopper. Can you not see that it is Edward Hopper? Just kidding. Just kidding, everybody. Here we go. Can you not see? So what's behind her? Let's see here. What would be directly behind her? Well, it'd definitely be more green. Let me bring this down. Maybe add some of this brown. Maybe reduce the shadow, the highlights. I want to reduce the highlight here. Now the dress just looks dirty. Got to match the color shadow. I think that's why. Maybe just add a highlight. Just looks dirty now. All right, well, let's keep going. Let's keep pushing our idea until finally something clicks. And something will click. Something always clicks. At some point, it will all make sense as to why we've been doing all this. At some point, somebody will answer all of my life's questions and be like, yeah, that's why. That's why this has all happened. That's why this is all happening. And we're gonna go with this dark blue with a little bit of black into this background here. Actually, right here, let's go like this. Come down. It's definitely a building. And then we have one more. Got a tan building, tannish red building. That's what we're gonna add right here. I've been using this brush for a while now. And let's try to establish a couple highlights on this. So we're going to do a highlight right there. What is this? What is that? What is this little corner? Okay. It makes no sense. But let's go ahead and put some color down. What color is this? It's like a pink. Where can I lay down a pink without messing up too much? You know, maybe just add some little pink sections. This would be better if the surface was dry and I was just like doing like a scumble. But we're gonna add a little bit of a dirty area. That whitens things. Too many pink highlights. I don't like that. We're not gonna do too much more of that, but let's go. You know what I could do just to fake this is I could just make this box, a box, and make it so that she's standing in front of the box. Make it look like she's standing in front of the box. There we go. Let's try that. Just some little repairs here and there. Or I could save that repair for another day and I might come up with a better solution. Well, Michael got me with the dang shadows. He's like, "Where's the shadows?" And I think I did this before the shadows, so it's not totally Michael's fault. But I think when I started thinking of shadows, I started like laying stuff down here. Michael, if this painting sells, I take all the credit. If nobody buys it, I'm blaming it all on you. Joking. All right, so we're gonna go like right here. I'm gonna blend this area in. I want to cover up this foot area, this traffic. This should not be there. And we're gonna blend some of these yellows in and stuff. Yellow's gonna go all the way to the end here. Even past this little box. And then let's go find we're going to find this blue box again. You know what? Let's just paint this part of the box black. Let's go all black. I don't know how this was lit because there must be a light coming directly from the top, like right here. They must have, you know what I'm thinking is in the scene, they must have hung some lights like from right here This is why painting movie scenes is not always the best idea, because you know, if they cut out some lights in a frame, it could be confusing. But here's the funny thing. So here's what's happening is I'm seeing light. Like, you know, if the light was coming from in the very front of them somehow from this object up here, it would put like a lot of shadow into this section right here. But there seems to be this object right here, and then there's light like coming down directly. So that's an interesting thing. So as I mentioned to Michael earlier, I was saying, you know, this whole Hollywood, the concept of Hollywood filmmaking, you know, it erases a lot of shadow. And, you know, I do find this an interesting illusion that was created. So without getting too bogged down by it, we're just going to run with it. We're just going to run with this idea of this shadow. Just going to run and roll with the illusion. The Hollywood illusion. Hollywood illusion lights. Lights in Hollywood illusions. And this object looks like too raised. So we're going to have to do something to flatten it. How do you draw a disc on the floor and make it look like it's a disc on the floor? Maybe it needs to be